Hey, how's it going everyone? Outlaw Client here, back again this week with some more Dragon Ball FighterZ gameplay. Now I know some of you might be wondering why I'm covering Dragon Ball FighterZ again this week. Well, at least not until Friday, because its official release date is on Friday, apart from some review copies, but besides those, I shouldn't really have access to it. However, if you guys have been following Bandai Namco on Twitter, you'll know that there was actually a tweet, or they recently tweeted that there was an Xbox One live beta coming again, which is a bit strange. I mean, it completely caught me off guard. It seemed like they only announced it quite close to the time that it was going to be announced, because this was like literally 10 minutes before I went to bed I checked it and I found out that the beta was online. But anyway, I thought I'd just wake up early. I mean, it's at like 9 Pacific time, 9 PM at Pacific time, yesterday I believe it was, which equates to 5 AM in Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, that's a bit early for me. I thought I could wake up, play it, and then edit the video before the day ends. But anyway, got some more gameplay footage here for you guys to enjoy, so I'll just do a bit of narration over it. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is mostly some of the beta controls, or some of the things that I left out in the last video, because I believe that there were some really important techniques that I didn't go over. And again, like in the footage last week, even I was making those mistakes then as well. So one of the main things that I want to talk about is the crouching heavy. Now, the crouching heavy is actually a universal launcher. Well, I say universal, I haven't played every character, but pretty much all of the characters that I've played as so far have a crouching heavy as a launcher. And what it does is, if you're familiar with the Marvel games, you'll know that, or the Marvel vs. Capcom series, you'll know that launchers will, as the name suggests, launch the enemies into the air and then allow you to follow up with a combo, which is exactly the same in FighterZ. Because if you do crouching heavy, you can land a full combo and get a decent amount of damage. Maybe not like the same amount of damage that you could get if you had like a full combo into the launcher, but it can be quite punishing to opponents and make them think twice about doing certain things. Now, the certain thing that I'm talking about now is the dashing, the super dashing. Now, if you've played the beta, I'm sure you've experienced this all the time, like new players just mashing that super dash. Like, you haven't really got much time to do anything. You haven't got time to react. You haven't got any time to learn the move. Well, you got time to react, but you haven't really got much time to learn your character properly, because the opponents, if they're not mashing the super dash, they're mashing the punch, the light attack to do their auto combos. But if you use the crouching heavy, you can actually intercept the super dash, something which I wish that I'd known the first time around in the beta. But as I was saying, if you use the crouching heavy while the opponent super dashes, if you time it well enough, you can knock them out of that and land a full combo punish. And it's funny because they can't actually do anything while they're dashing towards you, so that's always something to keep in mind. But yeah, definitely a very useful technique. I'm sure it will be useful in the final game as well, because they haven't changed much from this beta build up to the final game. I'm pretty sure it's only minor balance changes, alongside of course fixing the servers for the game. But yeah, you definitely should be using crouching heavy in your gameplay. Now, another important technique is sort of similar to the last one, because the button inputs are exactly the same, but this time you'll be using a down heavy, but this is in the air to extend combos. Now, I know sometimes when you super dash towards your opponent, you'll try and combo off of them, but for me, I noticed that you don't really get much damage. I mean, unless you combo off of an assist or something like that, you can only usually get a few hits in before the enemy drops back down to the ground, and you have to like pretty much think about your next setup and everything. But if you super dash into the opponent, or any aerial combo, and then you press down heavy, then you'll be able to knock them up further and then extend your combo. Now, you can get a bit of extra damage off of it, but for me, the most important thing, or one of the main uses for it, is to switch out into your partner, because the thing is that your partner switch will actually hit into the enemy and then continue the combo chain, so you can essentially switch out completely safe. No chance of being punished there. I'm just absolutely glad that it's not like Marvel's TAC. And in case you don't know what TAC is, it just stands for Team Aerial Combo, and it's in Marvel 3 it was like a different system where you had to like pretty much guess, or you had a 1 in 3 chance of your assist switch being broken. But anyway, back to FighterZ. I don't want to get too far off topic. But yeah, that's a very useful technique. And again, that's not really told. They don't really tell you about that in the tutorial, so I don't know if it's in the full game, but it's definitely not in the beta. But it helped me quite a lot. I mean, I've managed to make some comebacks, whereas if I didn't use that, I probably wouldn't have made a comeback. But yeah, I think it's very useful to know. Now, another technique is known as the Z reflect, and I have to admit this one is actually included in the beta's tutorial, so I'm sure a lot of you who played the beta have already seen this. But just in case you don't know, if you use Z reflect, well, you can do that by pressing back and special button. But when you use the Z reflect, you'll be able to reflect key blasts. I mean, I don't think it's too important about the key blast reflection thing, because with most of the weak key blasts you can just like super dash right through them. But for me, the main use of that is to push away the enemy. So I mean, I guess that's the closest, or the Z reflect is like the closest you'll get to a push block in this game, to a true push block, because you pretty much can't push while you're blocking. But I mean, it acts more of like a parry, so you have to time with the enemy's attack. So if you time it correctly, you'll be able to push them away for a bit without sustaining it. Now, another important mechanic is the snap vanish, and I know a lot of you might have heard of this one as well, because this was also included in the beta's training mode, but I'll just probably go over some of its applications. But if you press the medium and heavier buttons, then you'll be able to like vanish behind your opponent and hit them with a kick. Now, you can't really combo off with the kick. Well, to be honest, you can extend it. If you have an aerial combo and you use the snap vanish, you will be able to extend your combos. But if you just do it raw, like on the ground, then you won't really be able, you won't be able to get much off of it, unless you, again, if you combo off of an assist or something. You know, assists in this game, they give so much potential. You know, that's why I love assists in games. But like I was saying, you can snap vanish behind your opponent, and I love to use it a lot for opponents that love to spam their supers. I mean, you get a brief period of time between like the activation of the super and it actually striking you, and during that brief period of time you can snap vanish behind them, and it won't do too much damage, but again, you'll just disrupt them. It's much better than eating a level 3. But as I was saying, snap vanish has quite a few applications. Now, when you're in the air, you can actually extend your combos as well. Again, you can extend it like using an assist and extending it further, but for what I've been using it for quite often is after like my normal air combo, or after I knock them down to the ground, I'll use a snap vanish, and then I'll go into a grab, which is, I believe it's called as a rush attack. But I'll go into a grab, and from the grab you can actually snap out your opponent, the snapback, like from Marvel. Sorry, I'm going to be using a lot of Marvel terms here, but you can actually snap back your opponent, so force them to change characters. Like if they've just switched out, then you can like force them back into that character and finish them off. And again, it would be just like the assist, so there will be a cooldown period for them until they can switch characters again. So you can potentially kill off other characters very quickly with that, which I think is very, very useful. Now, another notable feature of the snap vanish is that when you're in Sparking Blast, then, which is the X Factor type mechanic, but when you're in Sparking Blast, if you continue to hold down the snap vanish, well, that's the medium and the heavy. If you continue to hold it down after you've used it, then you'll be able to teleport behind your opponent without doing an attack. So you can sort of close distance between, instead of doing that kick or kicking them away, or the possibility of being punished, you can teleport behind them and close space in a safe way, and pretty much just keep on the pressure instead of constantly knocking them away. And now if you're playing as Trunks as well, you can do the classic teleport behind you, nothing personal, kid. But anyway, that's all of the main techniques that I can really think of at the moment. As you guys can see here, back to the match, I'm getting so close. Actually, yeah, I never mentioned as well, I had to mute the commentator. You guys are probably already you can already tell by the first match, but I had to mute the commentator because he was just, I mean, I couldn't have this guy taking my spotlight. I have to do my own narrating myself. But on a serious note, he is seriously annoying. I mean, it's not too bad, it's just he seems to appear a bit too much, more than I'd like him to. But anyway, look at this match getting so close. See, I was having post-traumatic stress from the previous match. I don't know if you guys remember. If you watch my previous video, you'll see that I used it, and then Gohan pretty much proceeded to destroy me. But going down to the final hit, can I do it? And there we go, get a nice dash in. You see, this guy should have been listening to my guide, you know, he should be using that crouching heavy. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. That's all I have for today. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found some of the tips helpful, then I'd really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribed if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.